Alright, let's have a look now that that's all dry. There we go. Now all we got to do is put some Nuln Oil in there, and that'll cover up the last vestiges that we didn't get of the Kislev. Now, I want the Nuln Oil to be thin, so I'm going to leave a little bit of water in my brush here. Because if I put undiluted Nuln Oil in there, what it'll do is completely overpower everything and darken it up too much, and that's not what I'm looking to do here. So I'm just going to put a dab on the end. Same technique as before, just dip it in there. Watch what it does. If it gets too dark, you may need to brush some of it out. There we go. Put in however much you feel like you need to make it look the way that you want it to. At the end of the day, it's yours. You're the one who has to look at it all the time. So don't worry too hard about what other people tell you. If you feel like you get too much in there, just brush it out. Dab off the excess, and that's really all there is to it. Side there, and I think we're good to go. Yeah, it's looking pretty sweet. Now, while that's drying, I want to show you a little trick. We're going to put some flock on it now. I'm going to get out my landscape terrain here. You can get this stuff at Michael's, or, you know, an art supply store of some sort. I just got gravel and grass. It's like what you use on a model railroad or something like that. And what I'm going to do is take out my glue here. And I'm going to try and fill as much of this negative space on the hex base as I possibly can with just a thin layer of glue. Of course, before I do that, I'm going to pop that thing open because I'm going to come back to it in just a sec. Just, you know, use your best judgment here. Try to get as much in there as you can. And if you got to use gravity to, you know, help get the stuff moving, just tilt this guy around a little bit. And the glue should run into whatever area you're wanting to get it. But if it doesn't, that's okay. shake it around a little bit. Now, here's the trick. While it's still wet, dip it right in there and swirl it around a little bit. Pull it out, dust it off. Not bad for the first go. We've gotten most of that in there. All we have to do is get that little area right there, and we'll be good to go. Let's see if I can't snag those little areas while I'm waiting on this to dry. Use gravity to my advantage here. At least try to. I'm getting there. Once you think you've got it where you want it, once again, just dip it right in there while it's wet. We're almost there. The more of this you cover, the easier it gets. Look. There's the cockpit nice and dry. And we've got the flock. And even though some of the rocks are up on the toes like that, that's okay. It just looks like he's stepping through it. It gives it a more realistic look. Now, time to bust out your dull coat, because we are pretty much finished with this bad boy. Like an hour later, right? Now, the dull coat doesn't need, a lot. You just want to give it a thin coat. Turn it by the hex base. Try to get as much of it as you feel like you can, because it may not be perfect, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be. Got it. We'll come back in just a second once that dries. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and paint the name on the bottom of the hex base there. And we'll close it on up. And it appears as though we're all finished. Got that monogram on there. Dull coat is dried. Everything appears to be in order here, so thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, as always, feel free to drop them in the comment box below. And remember to like the video and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more videos like this one. Thank you so much for joining me today on Painter's Pit, and I hope to see you next time.